want to welcome the team that is come from this center, Police Monitoring and Research Center. I want to say that you are welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Mindolo Economic Foundation. Coming from a research center, MEF is research oriented and we provide a good number of programs. Peace building and conflict transformation, for example, both a diploma and a degree in conjunction with civilian. Monitoring and evaluation. Let's maintain the link. Let the link grow stronger and stronger because we share one common ideal, the research center, and which ultimately is for the benefit of humanity, where MEF stands for. It is a Pan-African institute, and it is actually Christian-based.
Thank MEF for accommodating us. Even if it was at short notice, we are grateful that you were able to accommodate us. And we're also grateful that we were able to send your students for the media workshop we held on Tuesday. We'd like to thank you for that. So before I go into the presentation, our presentation today will be on what we are doing as PMRC, and we hope that next time when we come, we'll be able to touch on other issues. I would like to quickly mention that we've been to other institutions like the Catholic University and also North Rise. So there we did presentations on the 7th National Development Plan, which I hope that we're already getting documents. We're already getting to know what that document is talking about, because the 7th National Development Plan is very key to each and every one of us. So we hope that we are accessing that document, but I wish to mention that you can even upload it from our website. We'll be able to share the details of our website. And also to mention that our website is also still rich with other information. So the other presentations we had from other institutions was also on the Zambia Plus. His Honorable Mutati has been talking about Zambia Plus, the economic recovery program. So I would encourage us to still have that information, and so that we're able to explain. And also it helps us know the direction where our country is moving. So it's important for each and every one of us. And our other presentation, which we held at the two institutions I've mentioned, was on the state of Zambia's economy. So we hope that maybe next time when we come, we'll still be able to share the valuable information. And also to mention that as we end the program, we are going to hand over materials to the institution, which my colleague has mentioned that will be shared during the graduation ceremony, which is taking place next week. The Police Monitoring and Research Center is a public policy think tank whose vision is to unlock Zambia's potential. And we established in 2012, and our offices are in Osaka, though we get to work countrywide, and I will explain how we get to do that. And then our stated aims is to produce high quality, relevant and timely public policy analysis, delivery, monitoring and reform proposals. And the second is to promote and encourage informed public debate on critical social and economic issues critical to national development. And to deliver its mandate, PMRC works and leverages from programmatic information, communication and outreach networks of various institutions and organizations, partnerships like the ones I've mentioned already, which is one of these that we'll have between PMRC and Mindolo. And then our other stakeholders include the government, the civil society, and citizens group. This approach of collaboration has enhanced PMRC's relevance to national development through awareness of public policy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My job is very easy. As we conclude, my colleague has talked about a lot of the different types of research we've done. We work across different fields, and I'll just take you through some of the recommendations. As a research organization, basically how we follow our impact is basically looking at, do we actually have impact in terms of creating real policy changes when we make our recommendations, do we just make them for the sake of making them, or do they actually end up being recommendations that government takes on board? So I'll start with the first one. One of the problematic ones that we had was the e-voucher, Farmer Input Support Program. There's been a lot that's been going on around that. We all know with maize, it's very political. You can lose an election, win an election. So with this, what we had been recommending for was the restructuring of the e-voucher system. Basically, this is the FISP system where farmers, you buy maize, you buy fertilizer, you buy seed, you distribute. In the previous seasons, we had issues of delays. So one of the recommendations we had made was to move this system into an e-voucher system, which is basically an electronic system. So instead of the previous system where the government actually had to deliver inputs, people had to wait for seed to arrive, they can actually have an ATM card that the government loads, some sort of an ATM card that the government loads, and they can buy these inputs at the time of their convenience from any store. So that was one of the recommendations that we had been making, and that was taken on board. Others were with regards to proposals to reform the wildlife management in Zambia. And some of the recommendations that were taken on were changing ZAO from an organization or a management institution to putting it under a department, under the Ministry of Tourism. This is because at the operation stage, there were a lot of inconsistencies because ZAO operated as an institution on its own, and the Ministry of Tourism also was an institution on its own, but they actually had areas, the areas of interest were in common. So as a result, that caused a few challenges with regards to operational level. So one of the recommendations was to move ZAO to a department under the Ministry of Tourism, as opposed to what it operated on previously. The other recommendations we had were we were looking at the state-owned enterprises. Most of us know them here commonly as parastatals. We had the ZCCM. We have quite a number of them that are still operational. I think here we have Nkana, Water, and Swarage, and there's still a lot of those parastatals. What we realized was that when we did some research, most of these were still underperforming. A lot of these parastatals are still struggling. A lot of them struggle to stay afloat, and the government pumps in huge amounts of money. So what we made was some recommendations to actually do a critical analysis as to which ones are still viable. You'd notice there are some like Post. Very few of us post letters now. We are usually on WhatsApp with emails. So ideally they've been replaced, and you find that such organizations now struggle. They've moved towards microfinance, they sell cars. So they've ideally moved from being the organizations that they were intended to be to finding other avenues to make some money. So one of those we recommended was to basically try to restructure some of these organizations. And in the budget, the Minister of Finance had actually alluded to the fact that government would be carrying out a critical analysis to see which organizations should remain. Should some of them be privatized? Should some of their functions be merged? And to ideally ensure that all of them are actually profit-making.